Hello and welcome to worship with Upper Clyde Parish Church from, as ever in these strange times, from wherever and whenever you're watching this. I was saying to someone the other day, one of the advantages at least of online worship is that if you're minded on a Sunday to have a tiny bit of a sleep in, well, you can watch this a bit later. And I know that some of you are watching it even later in the week, but that's the advantage. It's up online. Watch it whenever it's working for you. But no matter what time you do gather for worship, it's always a good time to praise our God who is so immensely worthy of praise and honour and reverence. And praise will be something that we're going to be picking up very shortly. Just a wee recap. Over the last few weeks, we've been running a series on Paul's letter to the Philippians, and our last time in worship, we finished that series. Now, given the joyful theme running throughout that letter and Paul's encouragement to the Philippians and to us to rejoice in the Lord always, I thought that, well, we could do just that in this time of worship with a bit of an online Songs of Praise style service. I looked back over our previous years, our Songs of Praise services. Now, we've been doing them since 2015, so 5 years worth of material. I looked through all those hymn choices that you as a congregation had chosen, and because I kept notes, I knew which ones were the ones that kept coming up and up a time again, the ones that had so many extra votes. So by a process of elimination, I whittled them down, and I think we've got hymns aplenty. I've got a great playlist of hymns, so if you're minded to be at home and have a good sing, today is the day to do that. And I trust that this time of worship, just a more informal time of worship, will encourage you, will put a spring in your step on these colder autumnal days, and help you to give thanks and praise to our God. Now, before we move more fully into our time of praise and worship, there are just a few short notices. So, electrical works and the opening of the building. The Kirk session is going to be meeting online this week to approve the electrical work needing done before we can open the building. We are going to have to draw down on some reserves, depleting reserves for the bill which has come in. And it's come in at just under £2,700 plus VAT. I just say it quickly and then it goes away, sort of thing. But it was a bit of a shock. But hopefully we can get that work underway when our electrician is available and subject to presbytery approval. And it's only the electrics that need done. So that's the only thing that needs ticking off the list. So subject to presbytery approval and the ever fluid government regulations around COVID, we inch ever closer to opening those church doors. I am not going to put a date on it. I have one in my head, but because I came unstuck last time, having naively thought we might be able to open in September, I don't want to raise too many expectations, but I hope it won't be too long before we can get those doors open for those of you who would like to come and worship in the building. So that's that. Remembrance Sunday. Let's have a wee chat about Remembrance Sunday. A quick update. Worship and the commemorations around the parish. Not going to happen this year because of the regulations. We're not allowed to have an outdoor event. So I'll be putting together an online service, as I've done every Sunday. And I'm also hoping to get around to the 4 villages that have memorials, and I'll take some pictures to incorporate into that time of worship. And I'll also be calling on several folk to volunteer for readings, which is why in this service that has a few readings and bits and pieces, it's just me, because I didn't really want to overburden anyone with extra duties. And also another way of marking Remembrance Sunday that's been talked about is to do something along the lines of what the NHS, what we'd done for the NHS earlier this year during lockdown. Remember, we put rainbows in the windows as a way of cheering on and encouraging and supporting the NHS. What the talk around has been is putting a poppy or making a display in your window, like instead of a rainbow, poppies, and in that way, in the days leading up to Remembrance Sunday, it would be lovely to see in the villages, in the houses, poppy displays as a way of remembering and commemorating Remembrance Sunday. So that's something we can do. And also, for those of you who've got younger folk in the house, look online. There are some fantastic crafts and activities around poppy making. And I'll also, on the blog and on the worship clips for Remembrance Sunday, I'll have links so that you can go and check those out, and you can do some amazing poppy crafts with the younger people. So that's that. Guild news. Now, if you've not already picked up a quiz from the Guild, you can still do so. Guild quiz sheets are selling for £1 each at the Abington store, or just get in touch with Heather Watt or Mary Hamilton to get one. All of the proceeds go towards the fantastic charities that the Guild, the Church of Scotland Guild, supports, and it's a fun way to raise money, and it's a good way to get the old noggins, our brains going. I don't know, is noggin an Australian word? Possibly, I don't know. In the meantime, don't forget, if you would like to continue to support the work of Upper Clyde, you can now donate online, and the link is also on the blog and below the clip. Many thanks again for those of you who have continued to support Upper Clyde. It's really needed and so appreciated, and thank you for all that you've been doing. I think that's all of our notices. And now, as we move into our time of worship, let's pause a moment and prepare ourselves to meet with God in worship. So let's be still. Come rejoice, all you who love and serve the Lord. Sing songs and hymns of praise. Celebrate together in God's presence. For the word of the Lord holds true forever, and everything he does is worthy of our trust. Clap your hands, all you peoples. Shout to God with songs of joy. For God is exalted on high, sovereign over all the nations, and Lord of our lives. So let us worship God. Let us sing our songs of praise in this time of worship. And our opening hymn of praise is "How Sweet the Name of Jesus Sounds."